Welcome to another episode of the Talk Show. I'm your host, Jason Takhtadjian. Today we are joined by a very special guest. Her name is Anaeis Gevorkian. She is a
Hi
well-known
guys.
photographer. You might have seen her work on Instagram. Anais, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? How's everything, Jason?
Everything's good. Everything's good. We're just grinding around along, just the usual work by work, week by week, work by work. Where are you joining us by?
I'm actually in Oregon right now for work. I'm not in LA. I wish I was in LA because it's a lot warmer compared to what I'm going through here. But we're taking it one day at a time, so it's fine.
I was gonna say it's the stereotypical hotel room kind of view in the background for you.
Yeah, literally bundled up here, but
Oh my gosh. So tell us, like let's talk about that. What takes you what brings you to Oregon specifically?
I actually had some work here. I've been lucky enough, like one of my friends moved up here after like her UCLA days. She's a PA, so she moved up here for work and stuff. And then I kind of get tired of being in like the LA space for too long. So like knowing that she was here, I was like, you know what? I want to expand and like go to different parts of the world as well, which I've already done, but like states wise, being in LA so often, sometimes it gets so congested. I'm like, I just want to get out of here. So like knowing that I have like friends in different parts of the states makes things easier. And then I just like go and like expand with work. So it makes things a lot more interesting and fun. So
Our industries, what we both work in, that's kind of the beauty of what we do is that our work isn't necessarily, just stuck on one place. We get to go multiple places, all over the country, all over the world, and get to meet some new people. And that's part of the reason why you're in Oregon. So let's talk a little bit
exactly.
about let's go a little bit back. Let's rewind a little bit, and I want to
Okay.
talk to you about just kind of your background. Where were you raised, and kind of how you first got into photography? Was it
Okay.
directly like an introduction, an indirect introduction to photography?
I would say more of an indirect introduction. So like I was born in Iran actually. I moved here when I was 6 years old. My parents and I we literally walked over 12 countries and went through so many different obstacles like getting to the US. Since during that time like they weren't giving any visas or any type of, leverage for anyone in Iran to like leave. So my parents and I, we literally gave up everything. And I was a 6 year old just like walking around with my parents, not knowing where we were like headed, where we were going and stuff. But essentially we went through that. And then I came here. I studied really hard. I went to UCLA for my undergrad. I got a BA in psychology. And I thought I wanted to be an attorney, like every Armenian household ever. It's either doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Yep.
Um, so I picked the law route and I thought that's where I was going to be headed. But oddly enough, I took my LSAT and I got a 162 on my LSAT. And like before like law school started, like that summer, I remember thinking like, okay, I've worked in PI firms and like I've done everything like A to Z. Do I want to be doing this for the rest of my life? Like I started thinking about it and I was like, I don't know if I want to be doing this. And like that whole summer, I went, through the whole like phase of like, do I want to go? Do I not want to go? What would I do if I didn't? And basically, I ended up telling my parents, like, I don't think I want to go through with it with law school and stuff. And they were just kind of like looking at me like, what is this girl saying? Like, what's going on in her head? Whatever, typical Armenian parent situation. But I was like, I want to start like my own like media type of business. I want to like create content. I want to travel. We have artistic people in our family. Like my mom decorates like crazy, like the things that she comes up with, like my aunts, everybody, they're all like super like intricate. And I feel like it is an Armenian thing. Like we're all very detail oriented, creative in different ways. Like we're not afraid to take risks, which I love. Like I love that that's like embedded in us. So I feel like growing up, like I've always had that, especially like coming to the US with how we did come to the US and everything, that kind of like pushed me. And like I decided to take a risk. I was like, I'm all in, like I want to go through with this. And my parents were like, okay, well, if you like, if this is really what you want to be doing and you know what you're going to be doing, then like by all means, like we're going to support you and stuff. And I remember like when I first started, like I started with like my LLC. I did everything I needed to. I was like, okay, I need to pay up like the 800 bucks. So I need to figure out how the hell I'm gonna make my 800 after like paying like from savings and
Yeah.
stuff. just like all the little details. And once I started, like I started my Instagram page, I started like posting photos of like little travel things that I had in the past. And I was like, okay, let's see what we can make out of this. And then I remember when I got my first ever like client like asking for like headshots or whatever, I had like a moment of like panic, like what do I even charge this guy? What do I even say? Like, what is a reasonable price for this? What do I do from this point on, you know? And it felt so nerve-wracking because you don't even know what to text. Like, what's the correct way of texting? And like, how many things you're supposed to give to them, like all the deliverables, everything like that. So I was like, oh my God, like this is actually like it's starting. Like,
Yeah.
well, what do I do from here, you know?
It's kind of like balancing. You want to become a photographer, but you're indirectly also becoming your own business person at the same time
Yeah.
too. So you like everything is like trial and error, it seems like whenever you first started off.
No, for sure. Everything felt like I had to handle things on my own. I had no knowledge of anything. So every day I was like doing research, like, what the hell is an LLC? Like, what am I even going to be doing with this? You know, like, why
What
am I
does the L
starting?
stand for?
Yeah,
Like,
literally everything felt so new. I knew like I had to be doing it, but like, I'm the type of person when I do something, I want to know everything about it. Like, I will literally go all in. Like, I don't just start something just to start it. Like
yeah.
I'm super into like history, politics, like just like things that interest me, like I go all in. Like I want to learn everything. So even like doing this, I was like, I'm not gonna just start something just to say I started something, because that would make me so uncomfortable. Like, especially if someone's asking me something and they're like a big shot person, and I'm just standing there like, what do I even say? You know, like it would
Right.
make me so uncomfortable. So I'd rather feel educated, know what I'm talking about before like I go in, you know?
Absolutely. It's funny you mentioned that, talking about wanting to be well educated, learn about so many different aspects. Once you learn about a certain subject like photography,
Yeah.
it just popped the question in my mind. Whenever you first started learning about, the expenses that come with photography, what was the big shocking moment for you? Was it learning about, like how expensive like lenses are or like how expensive like those, camera equipment is? Like what would you say kind of really stood out to you?
It's so funny because I actually made a video about this on my Instagram that went viral because so many people agree.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
It had like I think 3.2 million views, but it's like when you start like the world of photography, you buy the camera and you're like, okay, like I went all in. I spent 4,000 on the camera, like this is it, whatever. And then you're like, okay, no, but you also need a lens. And then you're like looking at the lens prices and you're like, why does it cost like more than the camera? Like, so that was like my moment of like, oh my gosh, like what is this world? And I think the funny thing is when you go into photography and you become a photographer, content creator, whatever it is, I respect people that are in this field because you really have to be all in. But I feel like oftentimes people give up because they're like, oh, people aren't willing to pay enough and stuff, like for my job, whatever it may be. But my dad's always taught me, like, you literally give yourself your own worth. Like, if you think you're worth $100 an hour, that's you giving yourself that worth of like, okay, I think I'm worth only $100. But I think if you frame yourself like, okay, my camera and my equipment cost this much, you know, like I'm paying like 10, $12,000 in total and like, and then SD cards, external drives, whatever.
Yeah,
All in, you're like probably at 20K or more. So if you're like going around asking people to pay you $100 to do like a photo shoot session, I don't think you're doing business correctly. So I really think you have to make yourself like known, like value yourself however you want to value yourself and like take it from there. So
absolutely. I want to also reel it back a little bit because, you mentioned something that I kind of relate to, and that is you started in a field like law and you transitioned from law into the media world of photography. For me, I started college in engineering and then
okay,
transferred
see?
over to journalism. So it's like, whenever you said when you're an Armenian, you choose business, engineering, or law. I was the engineering side of
You were the
things.
engineering side, yeah.
Exactly.
See, we're
But
all we all have common ground somehow.
exactly. So it's very interesting you say that. And I was gonna ask you about it because you were saying, a lot of people who go into, photography or even media in general, they get, they quit after some time
Yeah,
because they're just not interested, they don't have the support. And it's very important in the Armenian community, especially for folks like us who are, trying to figure out what we want to do with our careers. To have, a stable support system. And it's important, to have that moving forward. How important was it for you whenever you transitioned from law to photography to have that support system? I know that you had some hesitation from
yeah.
not just family members, but even some friends. But, how important was that support?
I'll say one thing, and I don't know if this happens to you as well. I feel like oftentimes when we start something in the beginning, a lot of people are kind of taken aback. They're like, oh, we don't think you're gonna make it, but like it's okay, just try whatever it is. I feel like in the beginning of anything, you kind of get to see who your like true supporters are, who your real supporters are, who are actually like there to like
Yeah.
support you every inch of the way. And it's funny because oftentimes when I post things, even to my stories, so many people view my stuff. And oftentimes it's like the people in the beginning that were so hesitant that are always like there to like watch your stuff and kind of hoping that you would have failed at some point. But then like when they see you progress and like do well and travel and stuff, they're kind of like, oh my God, like, wait, they're actually doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know
So I
exactly
think
what you mean.
so I think support system is super important, but also when you start something big where a lot of people feel like you're gonna fall, that's also a moment where you tend to realize who your true people are, who your true like inner circle is, like who actually want to support you and who's just been there to see if you're gonna like fall flat on your face. So
Yeah. Unfortunately, in media and in this sort of space, we see a lot of that. A lot of people, and I know in Armenian community in general, it's very new to see
yeah,
Armenians in the media community and whether they're doing photography, video work. And it almost feels like, people use their egos to just try to be like, oh, I want to be right about this. And
yeah,
oh, if I support this and they fail, I don't want to be attached to that, which I think is a very backwards mentality. Like, if you're gonna succeed, succeed together. If you're gonna
yeah.
fail, fail
Fail
together.
together, 100%.
And it just seems like, because it's not a traditional, avenue when it comes to media, they kind of think that, oh, there's no money in it, or oh, not a lot of people do it, so obviously we're not gonna, have success in it. So, it does feel rewarding to just continue to do that work and continue to improve and, make those sort of strides. And then, like you said, those same people who were just watching from a distance, now they want to kind of pretend like, they're supporting now.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like I've
Yep.
seen that like transition so often where in my mind, like in the beginning, they would never like try to like talk to you or like, even support you with your business. And then after they're like, well, actually, can we like shoot with you or whatever it
Yeah.
may be? And you're just kind of like, huh, okay.
Ah, it
Yeah.
came
Like I
around to
see your
me.
true colors now, what I
Exactly.
mean? But
And then that's our job then to just be as humble as possible and
oh,
just,
for sure.
have that sort of grace because at the
It
end of the
kind of
day,
feels
we
good
know.
too, though, in the back of your head, you're like, oh, okay, like I did make it in a sense because in your head, in the beginning, you didn't think I was gonna make it, and now I have. So,
Absolutely. And if anybody goes onto your Instagram page, they can see, what you've achieved and where you've gone. For me personally, I love the natural beauty of like cities and like those sort
yeah.
of shots. I love cars, anything to do with cars, just any sort of photography with cars. I absolutely love it. Do you have memories from some of like your first professional shoots? Maybe one that stands out to you, not necessarily like, learning lessons, but like one that, you took it back and were like, man, I did a really good job on this.
So my first job ever was for like these two real estate guys. They were like, oh, we need headshots done and stuff. And I remember like I had never edited like professional photos. It was like my first ever job. Like I had, editing experience with like landscapes and other things. But then I was like, oh my God, like I just took these photos. How the hell do I edit this stuff? Because I was like, oh yeah, like I'll Photoshop the backgrounds, I'll change like whatever I need, like post edit. Like I tried to act like I knew what I was doing. And then after I did the shoot and I went home, I was like, oh my God, like what do I do? Like how do I edit these pictures? Like what's my next step? So I was literally on Google, YouTube videos for like a week, and then like 2 weeks, 3 weeks happened, and the guys were like, are our photos ready? I'm like, yeah, they're almost done. Like they're like exactly what you guys wanted and stuff. Deep down, I was like, oh my God, like are these files correct? Like searching everything over and over again to make sure everything was fine before like delivering it. So I always remember that just because it is like your first time and you're just kind of like stuck and trying to figure everything out. So like inside you're just like, okay, like is this gonna work out? Are they gonna like their photos? Are they gonna be like, I want
Yeah.
my money back? And
Right.
the crazier part was I didn't even have like an actual contract like before I sent it to them to like, get hired for the job. So I like created something like last minute just to have them sign.
Mhm.
And after that, I was like, oh my God, this like contract is so bad. Like these people, if actually something went wrong, they could have, like sued me for or whatever the reason.
Yeah.
And I had to like look into insurance. I had to look into so many things, make like an amazing contract where like I could save myself if anything ever happened. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's just so many different things. So
Oh
many.
my God. I mean, what was the end product? What was their
They liked their
did
photos,
they
but
like
like
it? Okay.
looking back, they ended up using it for their, flyers and everything, which made me so happy. But like
Good.
looking at their photos now, I'm like, they're good, but like, oh my God, like did I actually edit these pictures and they actually like utilize them for
Yep.
their like flyer?
That's such a crazy experience. When I think about the first story that I did as a reporter, in the moment and that sort of time, I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I was able to like get that together and put it together. Nowadays, I'm like, I, I can't believe I did that. Like
Oh
that's like
yeah.
so not my standard.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same exact same way.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time that your photography and your work took you out of the country?
Ooh, yeah. So the first time ever that I did work out of the country was actually in Mexico. I went to Tulum and I like got hired to like do like a shoot for like one of the resorts there.
Yeah.
And they were so nice. I'm still like friends with the guys there. They always like hit me up. They're like, if you ever want to come, just like come, you could stay, this, that. Like we, become like really good friends. And that experience was super cool for me too. Like I feel like it kind of taught me like, okay, if I could do this and people actually want to hire you outside of the country, to like go and do things for like the resort, you could do so many things.
Yeah.
But I think as a as a country and as like an ethnic group, we're so in a sense used to just wanting to be comfortable because we've gone through so much as a nation in a sense that I feel like it's hard for us to like push ourselves in different ways because we want to kind of like have this like solidified ground of like, okay, like if I'm a lawyer, I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor, like everything's going to be fine. Like this is just the way that we've learned things to be fine and stuff in terms of finance. Um, but I think when you take risks, you really get to see your efforts in different ways. And that whole like saying in Armenian, like "Chka charik aran sparik," like I live with that phrase. I really think if things become difficult at like a certain point, good things will follow. Like it's just like there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So I think about like taking risks really does take you far, but it's just about like wanting to take the risk.
Absolutely. I mean, so in this case, the risk was going out of the country for the first time.
Yeah, like taking the risk of like going, seeing like how things would turn out,
Yeah.
seeing if like people would like my work and like get calls to like go even different places, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's just really about putting yourself out there
Yeah.
and selling yourself. I think if you want to get far in like the media field or whatever it may be, you really have to like push yourself. You have to like reach out to like so many people like day in and day out. I
Mhm.
don't just like sit in hopes of like, oh, like what's gonna happen next? You know what I mean? I think even as you expand and as you grow, you really have to like find more connections and like find even bigger people to reach out to because you learn more from them. So,
Absolutely. I mean, you have gone all around the country, all around the world doing photography, and you know, you have done photography that's also kind of connected with the Armenian community and kind of events with the Armenian community.
yeah.
What are some events that stand out to you when it comes to doing, photography work within the Armenian community? I know in Southern California, and also kind of tying to what you were just talking about, where it comes to like the work that you do means more, and it also kind of it's not just about taking photos, it's about connecting people.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think for me, even like being able to be known as an Armenian photographer, that like means a lot to me because I feel like especially in the field of photography, there aren't too many like Armenians that have like learned to expand and like go different places. We tend to just like have primarily like wedding photographers, which also like does really well because
Mhm.
Armenians obviously have big weddings.
Yes.
But I never wanted to just be like a wedding photographer. You know what I mean? I wanted to do different things because everything like catches my eye. And I think there really is beauty in everything. And I was like fortunate enough to like be called to like shoot for like when Garen came for the tennis game, like the UCLA tennis match. Like I did that back to back. That was like super cool, like seeing the Armenian kids get like so excited to see like an Armenian phenom, like tennis player. I grew up playing tennis, so tennis also has like a big part of my heart. Like I did like CIF Division 1 in high school. I've always been super athletic, so like doing that was super cool. I also like met Andre Agassi. He like came to like one of the dinners for like the Garen's match and stuff. That was like super fun for me. Um, and then recently I did like the LAFC match for like the Armenian Heritage. That was
Yes.
like super cool too. Like I had a lot of fun doing that. And unfortunately, Son wasn't playing. I was like looking forward to meeting him that day.
Yeah,
But
human son, yeah.
yeah. He was playing for, I think his like national team, like South Korea's team. So he wasn't able to come that day. And I was like, oh my God, like the timing is not right. So you're supposed to be with the Armenians, not with Korea. You know?
Hey, hopefully he sees this video, he sees this show. He knows next time it's Armenian Heritage, you stay
Over
in LA.
Korea, yes. Over Korea's national team matchup.
It's like, come
But
on, man. That's so interesting. I mean, did you have any like background shooting sports beforehand?
Yeah, so I got my first camera in like eighth grade. My dad gave it to me as like a graduation gift. It was like a power shot camera. And I remember like taking that, like even like when I would go play tennis, like sometimes my dad would take pictures of me or like I would take pictures of like the girls playing and stuff. So that was like always fun for me, you know, but I don't know, I've like always taken pictures, even with friends, they would always like, can you take our photos? Because like when you take it, it's nice, but I never took it seriously until I really had that like moment where I'm like, hold up, like, what have I been doing my whole life? Like, I should not have been working at PI firms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like the more
So,
and more it dawns on you, it's like, man, I should have started this a while ago.
yeah, I wish I started this, like, I don't even know, like maybe even 10 years ago. Like, that would have probably been even like bigger. Like, but
Right. That's
so,
so I guess, with all the experience that you have amassed, all around the world, doing photography with so many different people and, using so much different equipment. Um, and this might be difficult to answer on the spot, but what would
okay.
you say, or which shoot would you say was the most rewarding for you?
Ooh, the most rewarding photo shoot. I think, to be honest, this might be really funny, but I think shooting like my best friend's graduation photos from law school, like that meant the most to me out of everything that I've done because she was like, I genuinely want you to be taking my photos. I don't want to hire anyone. Like, I'm gonna have these in like my house and stuff. And I remember when we went to take the photos together, it was like super memorable because I also have a story with her because initially she wanted to go to dental school. And then I was like, you should not be going to dental school. You should be coming to law school with me. So she ended up changing her whole career plan and career pathway and gave it a thought for like 2 days. And she's like, okay, you know what? Let's do this law school thing together. And I we always bring this up. Anytime I'm at her house, her mom just looks at me. She's like, "You still would have been the better attorney." And we always just laugh it off. But the fact that she became an attorney, she like passed her, bar the first try, everything. I always tell them like, see, like I told you, you should have been an attorney. Like imagine like you would have been a dentist, like being in people's mouths all day. Like, would you have enjoyed that? And she's like, the fact that you just left me like right before law school.
It's like you convinced her, and then you were like, all right, I'm out too.
Yeah, exactly. So the mom, like to this day, she's always like, see, she even convinced you to go to law school, but she just came out like right before. So
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. That's a funny story, but also that's actually really sentimental. Like there's like a whole story attached to it, but
there's a
also
story attached. So that's why it
yeah.
means a lot to me because like taking those photos, we laughed so much about it, but I was like, see, this is the rewarding experience. You graduated, you're an attorney, like everything's fine and stuff. And we laughed so much about it that day. And like she loved her photos. But I think that's always been like that one thing that's like stayed with me because it's just funny. It's like a funny story.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Those anecdotes are always funny to attach with that. Unfortunately, we are running up on the tail end of the show, but before we go, I do have one
Okay,
final question that I want to ask you.
sure.
Some folks who are watching at home or on social media, maybe they're thinking about doing photography. Maybe they're young students, who are still, in class and they
Yeah.
want to do photography. What would be your big advice that you would pass down to someone who wants to get into photography for the first time?
I really think if it's something that you've been thinking about and you want to go into the route of photography or media or anything, do it and work like super hard towards it because in the beginning, it's not going to be easy. Nothing in life is easy, but always remember with risk, there's reward. And that's one thing that's always like followed me, and good things come to those who wait. That's like another one of my favorite quotes. I really think if you put your all into anything, you will get to where you want to be. So if it's like photography, like go out and take photos, like expand your portfolio. Don't just focus on weddings or just like headshots or whatever. Like try to do everything, learn everything, be the master of all, even if it's like one specific field like photography or videography, whatever it may be, do everything so you can literally have like a portfolio, and if anyone asks you're like, yeah, I have this type of work, here you go, like
Yeah.
if you do weddings, no one's gonna like care to ask you like, hey, do you want to like fly to our hotel and like do shoots for our hotel? Like imagine how cool that would be, but you can never like do it because you don't have a portfolio. So
Right. Okay. I think that's really well said. And hopefully people who are watching at home, the better they better take notes if they want to become a
take notes.
photographer.
Yes. Yeah,
All right. Well,
100%.
Anais, this was a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the talk show. I really
Of
appreciate it.
course.
And hey, hopefully one of these days we'll organize a photo shoot down
Yes,
the road. That'd be really
let's do
cool.
it. Let's
All
do
right, I need some headshots, that's for sure.
it.
All righty, well, you have a good one, and thank you so much. Take care.
Of course. Bye.